And now I'm back. Okay, I gotta fix my TV so it show up better in the video. And here we go to the Forest of the Fallen Giants. Oh, and make sure when you first come in here to turn here, and you'll get another rusted coin. See, another rusted coin. And then you pull this lever to raise the door, and you actually have to wait for it to get like a couple inches above your head for some odd reason. And you can either drop off right here on this bridge to land down there on that little island, nope, sorry about the face in the screen. What you do is you come to this if you don't trust yourself falling off the bridge there, and you just walk across. And in here there's another human effigy. Well, a few. And if you want to, you can either walk back across this little platform bridge here and go out up there. But if you think you're good enough at judging when to jump, you can just always run and jump across here to get a soul and a homeward bone. And then you can just keep going this way, and it leads you to the Forest of the Fallen Giants. And if you decided to go back up the little platform, you just go there. And to get that item, you come down, around, and into the cave there. And be warned, because the enemies here are a bit trickier. And the parrying animation and counter parry are a bit more complicated in this game. As you can see, because I'm a parry master in Dark Souls 1, but Dark Souls 2, no. I mean, I can get them, but I'm not good at them. But as you can see, that's pretty good. If you come over here to this, there's an item here, which is just a single life gem. But hey, life gems can be life-saving. And here's the first bonfire in the Forest of the Fallen Giants. And then there's 2 more enemies here that come at you when you get close enough. And I'm not going to worry about parrying this guy. Like I said, I really suck at parrying. And you can use more than one life gem at a time. And here we go. So you can see there's a guy shooting arrows at me. But he's not the one you have to be scared of, because he's an easy kill. It's this guy that you have to be scared of, because he actually has a pretty good attack combo if you weren't lucky enough to like accidentally almost kill him like I did. There's an enemy here that's just trying to play dead, and I got a backstab. First one of the game outside of the tutorial area. And here's another soul. So basically, there's items everywhere. You just have to know where to look. Oh, and you can use your Estus Flask and Life Gems going up and down ladders. And this is one of the hardest areas at the beginning of the game, because you get swarmed by 3 enemies once you get up the ladder. And a dude who's just sitting there shooting arrows at you. And there's an item over there that I'm going to save until I kill everything over here. You come up this ladder. There's 2 enemies. One that's using its bare fists, and then the one using an axe. If you just decide to come over here, there's another soul there. If you're smart, you'd go back down the way you came, and then just run forward and roll, and then kill the archer guy. You jump across, you come over here, you get your first short sword, but since I started as Wanderer, I already had one. And you also get another soul. If you want the quick way down, just drop right here, and you can see an enemy just laying on the ground there. What you can do is just plunge attack him, almost kill him, and kill him in one hit after he stands up. Now there's 3 items here. There's the human effigy there, life gem here, and a broken straight sword here. Now this enemy here is actually pretty hard. For one, I died a lot when I first tried fighting him. But I'm going to try something first. See, I have 2 short swords. I still cannot dual wield them though. So I'm just going to go back to a scimitar and dual wield the scimitar. As you can see, this guy hits harder than all the other guys. And you're basically just going to want to try to backstab him to death. Or if you're good enough at parrying him, you can parry him. As you can see, I almost died there. You don't want to stay behind him. You kind of want to stay in front of him and let him attack. Then if you can, run in and get as many attacks as you can. But the sword he drops is your first elemental weapon of the game, which is the High Knight Sword. And if you start out as an adventurer, you actually have all but the strength, or the Wanderer, you have all but the strength needed to use it one-handed. You need 1 more strength because you start out at, or you need 2 more strength because you start out at 9. But you can 2-hand it. And as you can see, I am almost out of life gems, so I'm going to try to not heal a lot. Because in this game, human effigies don't heal you, they just make you human. There's an axe-wielding enemy here, just lying in wait. But since I got a second life gem, I'm going to heal. And if you just turn into this room, there's 2 enemies, another axe user, and a dagger guy. Break this cabinet and you can get your first crossbow bolts. then you actually have a stronger enemy, the Royal Soldier Hollows, which use claymores. But then you're just back down to the Hollow Infantry shooting a bow at you. But be careful, because there is another Royal Soldier just lying in wait, throwing firebombs at you. But you can get lucky and he can drop a firebomb for you, which you want to save until you open the doors up that ladder. And here's another enemy and item. And this is the buckler. For those of you who started out as thieves in the Dark Souls game, you know the buckler parry very well, because it is one of the best parrying shields in the game. Oh, and in this game, when you're going up and down ladders, you can hold B to go up faster. Or you can just hit B to just drop completely. But to slide down ladders like you used to in Dark Souls 1, you hold B and then go down. As you can see, there's an item over there. But I'm not going to pick it up just yet, because there's an enemy here holding a halberd, which you want to kill before you pick it up. Because once you pick up the item, he stands up and runs over and starts attacking you. And the door opens, and here's the second bonfire. Which most people think this is the first bonfire, but it's not. And I'm going to rest at it for the free heal and the free durability restoration. Then I'm going to come talk to this nice lady. And come over here to this. I'm not going to spend souls on the human effigies yet, but I'm going to buy Lingrast's key. And then I'm going to come over here and buy her 10 life gems. I'm going to get the Pharos Lockstone, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. If you want a good helmet that increases item find, you want to buy the Traveling Merchant helmet if you can afford it. The Traveling Merchant helm does the same thing as the Covetous Gold Serpent Ring and the Rested Coins. And here's why I say you want to save the firebomb for later. Where I'm standing out on the wall, if you throw a firebomb against it, you'll open up a shortcut. Or you could work your way all the way around to where that enemy up top starts throwing firebombs at you and stand up against the barrels that are against that wall. If you do that, you better be good at rolling away. But if you come up the stairs here, run to over here, and attack this door, it'll break. Because if you try to open it, it'll say the door is locked. And in this chest, there is the small leather shield and a repair powder. And the small leather shield is basically the same thing as the buckler. And this item here is a hand axe and either a soul or titanite shard. Nope, it's a radiant life gem. And there's an enemy laying down here trying to be all stealthy. Because when you open this door, he tries to bum rush you. In this chest, there is an Estus Flask shard and the small white summoning sign. The small white sign soapstone is basically the... If you're hollow and you don't have any human effigies, it's basically the way to get to become human. But if you're slow enough coming off of here, you can fall, land on this root, and you have your first divine blessing. And then stop and heal if you open up the shortcut and didn't want to use your healing items to heal with. which is actually the smartest idea to do. And then you want to find a way to knock the enemy down that's up there. See me? I'm going to try throwing knife. And it didn't work. Be warned when you come over this way, because you do not want to climb up that ladder unless you're prepared for basically a mini boss fight. Because if you die, it actually becomes a boss fight. And it is one of the only ways as a summon to get the full souls for the boss fight. Because whenever you go into a boss fight, you get reduced souls. Like you get 3/4 of the souls that you would normally get if you just fought it solo. Oh, and if you come over here, and here's your first Green Blossom, which from Dark Souls 1, if you remember, increases stamina recovery. And be warned when you go in here, because there's 5 ballistas, but there's only 2 of them manned, and you will take damage if you just walk in there and don't do exactly what I'm about to do. Run in and turn, because there's an enemy here, which you can kill if you're fast enough. And then you get bum rushed by 2 more, because they're right there on the first 2 ballistas you see when you walk in. And then you have a third one that comes from the other side of the room, from this ballista here, runs around and starts attacking you. But here is either the blue shield or the great soul arrow. The blue wooden shield and the large soul of a lost undead. And here's your great soul arrow. And that's for you mages out there. You decide to start it out as a sorcerer. There's your first upgrade to your soul arrow. But if you come down here, come down this ladder, be careful of this chest here, because you don't know what's in it. It's one of 2 different traps. Either a crossbow trap, which will kill you, or a poison trap, which will just poison you if you stay right up against it. So let's see what trap this one is. The crossbow. So basically you want to get your shield out and guard, because that will most likely end up killing you. And then you got your first Titanite shard of the game. But the reason why I bought the Pharos Lockstone is, you see this? If you have a Pharos Lockstone in your inventory, it will ask you if you want to use it. You say yes, and it'll light up a specific spot on the wall with the same face that's on the Pharos Lockstone contraption. What you do is you walk up and you attack it, and it's basically your illusionary wall for this game. And in this room, you got your Chloranthy ring and your first Titanite slab. See, I decided to pick up the Chloranthy ring first. You equip it, and Dark Souls 1 all over again. Stamina regeneration. And in this one is the first Titanite slab you get in the game. Now, if you just run back out, run over to this door, and attack it, you won't be able to open it or break it down. But if you attack it just right, the enemies that are in that room, and once you kill the 3 enemies that come out, you got a halberd user. Well, you have 2 halberd users and a shield and lance user. And the shield and lance user is going to be your hardest one. But you come here and open this chest, you get your life ring. And large Titanite shard. Let's see. Now I have 2 life rings. And that's all the items down here, so you climb back out. And go right first. And talk to Pate. Get through his dialogue until he just, I'll leave this one to you. You go in, run across. You'll hear the gate close behind you. And you want to kill everything that comes at you. And be prepared for when you get close to the door to progress farther. Because once you go through it, you have like 3 enemies going to charge you. And this is your aromatic oozes. And if you come to right here at the base of the stairs and hit A on the wall, you got a secret door. With the chest in it, which is a few more amber herbs and your sorcerer's staff. And then there's like 3 more enemies at the top of the stairs. One using the bow. You got a bow user who swaps to a claymore. A lance user again. And then when you go back up the stairs, you got your other enemy, which is another lance user. And your shield breaks in this game aren't kicks. They are like weapon sweeps. And here we go. Come out here. You can either choose to destroy that or just go around it. You drop down. And then you talk to Pate again. When you talk to him the second time, you get the normal white sign soapstone. And then he just repeats it again. I tend to use the normal white sign soapstone for being summoned. Over the small sign, because it's actually better than the small sign because you don't have a time limit, you have a kill limit. But if you're really just in it to become human, use the small sign. Use your light crossbow after you climb up that ladder. Now you have something to use those wood bolts you found earlier. If you're smart, you'd want to jump across here to pick up the soul of a nameless soldier and a torch. And here I'm actually going to use the crossbow because I don't want to have to fight all these enemies at the same time. And the crossbow scales with strength, not dexterity, as most people would actually have you believe. Now I'm just going to unequip it. And in this chest right here, you have your Mailed Breaker and Hollow Infantry Helm. And I'm going to use that repair powder I have so I don't have to rest at the bonfire and reset all the enemies. Even though it doesn't fully repair your weapons, it repairs it enough. But I'm about to break all the souls I got. And in this game, you can actually break multiple souls at one time if it's the same kind of soul. Like, watch, I'm about to break 3 soul of a Nameless Soldiers. But I'm actually going to go level up. To level up, instead of resting in a bonfire, you talk to the Emerald Herald, which is this lady right here. Oh, and this is also how you upgrade your Estus Flask. Each shard you bring gives you 1 more Estus Flask, but you can have a maximum of 12 Estus Flasks. Okay, so I leveled up my strength and dexterity, my strength to 11 and my dexterity to 20. So I can do this. And now I'm power stancing, or effectively dual wielding. Here's your right bumper, which is just your right hand. Your power attack is still the same. But here's what's the special thing about dual wielding. You can't block, but your left bumper and trigger are completely separate attacks. Your left trigger, you swing with both weapons, or your left bumper, you swing with both weapons. And your left trigger is, depending on the type of weapon you're dual wielding, is either a cross attack like this, or it's a double smash if you're using greatswords. And also, since I bought Lingrast's key, I opened up his cell. Well, his house. So now I actually have a blacksmith. And you can get the short bow when you go in there. And I can actually use the short bow right now, but I have no arrows. I don't even have enough to buy arrows. I'm going to rest the bonfire so Lingrast will go inside of his house. And I'm going to swap back to my scimitar. In my left hand and my high knight sword in my right hand. Then I'm going to talk to Lingrast. And you can buy a longsword, broadsword, falchion, estoc, rapier, battle axe, mace. This is how you'd get your mace if you didn't start out as a cleric. And a spear. And it's also how you buy your arrows and bolts. And 1 repair powder and 10 titanite shards. And if you have broken items, you'd come to him and repair them. But I'm going to try to reinforce something, and I don't have enough to, so I'm thinking I'm going to reinforce. Since I don't have the souls for any upgrades right now, I'm just going to leave. So I'm going to run up here and actually join the Way of the Blue, which is effectively this game's the Way of the White. But the funny thing is, each covenant you join gives you a type of ring. But one covenant doesn't give it to you until you get to rank 3. But the blue seal is effectively the same thing as the life ring.